Hi, just a quick word to say that my books, including my latest for children, are available in-store and online. You can find a full list of my books at tipene.com. If you're enjoying my content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for your support. Now back to the video. There are family members who are upset with my level of sharing. They feel that me talking about the abuse is in turn abusing the family members that abused me. That thought is actually quite common. That way of thinking is very common. And so other people will join in on that as well. They think that me talking about my parents abusing me is in turn being abusive towards my parents. Some are thinking, well, it's been years, why are you still going on about it? Sorry, I just find that so funny. People behave a certain way. They abuse and they hurt. And people just want you to shut up, not to talk about it. Abuse and trauma has a long-term effect. This stuff happened to me when I was a child and into my teens. Yet it has affected every aspect of my life. And at each age I reach, as I get older, I look at it differently. It's still a big part of my life, you know, because it has a different impact on me as I age. It's not just gone. There will be parts of your childhood that you think of, right? There are memories that are there. Our childhood stays with us all the way through, good or bad. There are parts that stay with us all the way through, parts that we keep revisiting. So in my case, with it being abuse and trauma and violence, it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up for us as a family. My son and my daughter will constantly talk to me of how life is different for them and how different I am. They're adults. They're going out in the world more. And all the way through, though, they've seen how Dad is different from a lot of other families, from a lot of other dads, from a lot of other people. And they see that difference as they attribute it to my past, for better or worse. And even from their own life and where they are and what they've managed to achieve. They talk about it constantly with me and how their life has been very different from mine, and it's really noticeable. They were raised in a home where I never raised a hand. You know, they were never smacked. I never abused them. They were protected from all of that, sheltered from any abuse or violence. It was not part of their life. They were not manipulated emotionally, nothing like that. And as a result of that, they have achieved at every level. They continue just to achieve. So my daughter just finished high school and she's already clocked up a year in a job, part-time. And now she's getting ready for uni. My son finished school. He's well into uni now, third year coming up, working full-time at the same time. I don't know how he does it, but he does. Very different from where I was at their age. I was a mess. I was a mess. I'd already been through so many jobs, so many relationships, all messy. All the jobs ended messy, all the relationships ended messy. It was all a mess. And so many homes. I'd end up sleeping in a car, I was sleeping on other people's couches. I had no home, I was just going from place to place. And I couldn't hold anything down. I was a mess. It says a lot, doesn't it? When we look out there in society and see people, and we question their choices. You know, why is that young man behaving that way? Wow. certainly brings it to light. If children are not brought up well, they're going to not do so well in the future. And I had a lot of work to do. And a big part of that work, of course, was talking. Talking about what happened to me, opening up about it. No matter how much I was being gaslit, family members were very quick to say, nothing happened to you, you're absolutely fine. Or they'd put it another way, I had it a lot worse when I was a kid. My dad always said that. Oh, you think that's bad? You should have seen what happened to me when I was a kid. Oh. So when I say my dad and my stepdad, that's what he used to say. You think you had it bad. You should have seen what I went through as a kid. Which is nonsense. Because if you don't deal with it, the shadow gets bigger. The darkness gets bigger. It gets harder. So those older ones saying that they had it worse, I've researched it. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Big difference between me and my stepdad. He always had a place. He still has a place within the family, within the whānau. He can still go up to the marae and have a place. Me, being a white boy for one thing, that makes it a bit more challenging. But because of the rejection of my dad. See, my dad didn't have that rejection, that's what I'm saying. He still has a place. He had been whāngai, adopted into another family. And he was the head son position though. No? The head son. So he was very important. So he still holds that position. Right? And there's the support around him. He was given that position by his whāngai parents, my papa and my nana. He didn't give that to me. I was completely rejected from my family. He kicked me out. This man, this stepfather of mine, pulled a knife on me in my teens and said that I had never been a part of this family. I never would be. And if he ever saw me again, he'd kill me. And he was serious. At the same time, my sister's standing right next to him. Why have you always done this to Timmy? Why have you always treated Timmy this way? Why have you and Mum always treated Timmy like this? So then my dad has the cheek to turn around and say he had it worse when he was a kid, when that was never done to him. That had never been done. He was never rejected in that. Now, I'm not saying this, I'm not hurt by this. I'm just stating, stating facts. So a big part of my healing was to talk, to share this stuff, to bring it out in the open. But something else happened when I started doing that. Because as I started talking, I started opening up and talking more. In the classes that I ran, and Warrior Kids, I started talking more. And the young people, the people that I worked with, not just them, but also their families, started asking questions. They wanted to know, okay, Tim, so what did you go through when you were a kid? And how did you get away from that? Then I was asked to come into schools, high schools, and different groups to do talks, to talk about my past and to talk about what I have done in order to change that, to break the cycle. I guess some people might call that a grift. But for me it was a purpose. It became a purpose. And it still is. This is my life. I'm not talking out of revenge. I'm not trying to hurt my parents. They chose to behave the way they did. I don't even know if they chose, but they just, impulse or their own hurt, driven by their own hurt and lack of understanding. Oh, so many reasons. Narcissism, it was all in there. They chose, or decided anyway, not to look at their problems, not to take responsibility, and treated me in the way that they did. Now that's mine. That's my past. I can speak to that. It's just the way that it is. It's factual. This is what happened. I talk about it. So people can be upset. People can think that I'm abusing my parents in return for the abuse they did to me. But no, that's not the case. I'm just being open, I'm being honest. I'm owning what was done to me. I'm being truthful. And in my sharing and in my talking about it, I have been able to support others. It is remarkable where I came from and what I've been able to do. If you look at all my achievements, award-winning author, creating Warrior Kids, running it for 28 years independently, inspirational speaker, going all over the place, asked to talk about this past and how I changed. My greatest achievement is breaking the cycle. It's my greatest achievement. And through breaking the cycle, I was able to do all those other achievements. A big part of me breaking the cycle was talking about it, being open and honest. Some people use language like snitch. Oh, you're a snitch. Talking about these things that have happened. That's a funny one. Hey, I wonder if you're in that position. Some people will be. If you talk about your family like that, you talk about your past, you're a snitch. Man, that's loaded, isn't it? Basically, that's saying, you shut your mouth. I remember one time I was talking about the violence and abuse. I got a phone call from an uncle. Now, people who know me will know exactly who I'm talking about. And he phoned me from Australia. That's a bit too much information. And he threatened me over the phone. He said that he would come here and, what was it? I hear you've been talking to him. You better shut your mouth, boy. So I'll come over there and I'll shut it for you. So I laugh. I just find it comical. For me, it's just comical. Absurd. Stupid. And, he was worried that I was going to talk about him in particular. There are things in my family that people don't want out, They don't want it out in the open. But when I've spoken about family, I've talked about my immediate family, the family that was in my home. That's what I'm mostly talking about. Now, there were some uncles and aunties that were abusive, and I do talk about that. I don't name them in particular, but there were some that, behaved wrong. But I can't really be talking to things that I don't fully understand, to situations that I wasn't a part of, that I don't know the full story. I can only just talk to what happened with me in my home, what happened to my siblings, or my parents. It's really what I can own, is that side of it. So yes, I'm not doing it out of revenge. I'm not being a snitch. That's a hard case one. You get hurt and abused by a family that don't want you, openly reject you. I mean, my mother didn't even want me to be born. She was pressured to keep me. And then what? You're seen as being disloyal. It's the other one, disloyal. Or a snitch, if you talk about what they did to you. Who's being disloyal? They're the ones being disloyal for abusing a kid, for hurting their so-called son. My stepdad, he legally adopted me. He was pressured to by the whānau, by the grandparents, but he legally adopted me. I have a birth certificate. I had 2 birth certificates. One said that I was from my biological mother and father. Then I was given a brand new one that said that my mum and my stepdad are my parents, birth parents, and that my name is now Tipene. So no, for me talking is not being disloyal, it's not snitching, and it's not out of revenge. I encourage more people to talk, to open up about what happened. It's how we shine a light on the darkness. Shine a light on the darkness, break the cycle, create change. I expect nothing less from my kids. I expect them to speak up if something's happened. I'm willing to wear it. I'm willing to go there because I know I did right by them. And even if I did, because I know I made mistakes sometimes, And I'm willing to own that. You know, my daughter will come to me and say, hey, you remember that time when you did that? I didn't like that, you know. Okay, fair enough. Yep. Sorry, I overreacted then. No, I'm sorry about that. Okay. And I'm willing to own that. I encourage people to talk. And I will continue to talk and share my past. It's my past, it's mine to own. It's what happened to me. It continues to be a big part of my life. And witnessing the changes of my children, and who knows with my grandkids, I reevaluate my life and look at my past and what it's done to me. It had a big part in forming who I am. If you look at everything that I've done, being a writer, creating the Worry Kids program, being a speaker, it all derived from that past. If you're enjoying my content, please like, share and subscribe. Talk soon.